I guess let me ask you this: like in your overall goals, how do you see the, um, the impact that Facebook already started having on your process? Like, do you see the Facebook leads? I mean, so let me know how everything is going for you because you got your first contract.
hmm Yeah, they've been good. I mean, we like when we worked with Lead Kitchen, we liked the leads that came in from there. We were getting about 120 lead to contract with them.
Mhm.
And so we already were like, yeah, we like Facebook stuff. And we haven't seen that drop off at all with you guys. It's been good. Um, weren't, I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say we weren't expecting to get a deal off of it yet, but I'm like, we kind of also were. Because we know that like, assuming, which we were assuming you guys would produce quality leads. We're like, great. Well, since they were quality, we converted them. Like so. I think how many leads do we have total from you guys right now? Is it like mine's
Spin
saying like 17-ish?
17,
Cool.
17, yeah.
Yeah, so 17 and we've got one under contract. That's great.
Mhm.
I mean, and obviously there are still some that are fresh and whatever. And I've also got one I offered yeah, on Sunday. I think she's gonna take it, but we'll see. Knock on wood. Um,
Mhm.
so that one's an ovation deal, so we'll see. But
Nice. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about like getting motivated sellers, having
mhm,
good conversations, making offers, right?
yeah, for sure.
And it's pretty early to tell how it's gonna be
Right.
your ratio, right? But this already, I mean, says really good stuff about you guys. Many times the way we do it is, for example, if we expect that someone is gonna get that someone typically gets somewhere between 1 out of 15, just to give you an example, right? We typically see that the first contract that they get after they start with us happens after lead 20. So somewhere between lead
Mhm,
20 to lead 30, right? So we kind of like have that 2x expectation
right.
because of multiple reasons, because the first month is a testing phase, because we need to get your feedback and put it back into the campaigns, right?
hmm
Because at the beginning, maybe the contact rate is not as high as it could be. So all those little things add up to that. So, I mean, maybe that's what it means. Maybe that if you're getting 1 out of 17 so far, maybe things are gonna add up to become, I mean, the next few weeks or months to go to 1 out of 8, 1 out of 10, right?
Yeah, I mean
Using that
that
same
would be
principle.
wild. If that happens, that'd be insane. I would be very, very surprised because I'm not that good. So, if those leads come out that hot, then that's crazy. I will give you
Yeah,
all of my
man.
money. But
Man, that'd be great. Yeah, I mean that's also that's kind of like having the standards high. Why not, right?
yeah,
And if it doesn't happen, well, you're gonna I mean, you're gonna get as close as possible to that,
right.
right? What I'm gonna tell you though is this: um, a lot of the times, really understanding that a motivated seller requires to have a good conversation with them. And once you have a good conversation with them, you're gonna know what the problem really is. And if they know you're by their side and you have multiple options, like I mean, you told me what is your exit strategy with this one is pretty awesome, man. So that means you guys have all these sort of like all these multiple exit strategies, right? So you seem like a problem solver in their eyes. So there's no reason they're not gonna go with you, right?
hmm
Because you were the first
Cool.
person who cared, and you're the first person who is like trying to give them the option that best fit their needs, if it makes
Yeah.
sense,
Yep.
right?
Definitely.
So this is the first success strategy call that you and I are having. As you can tell, it's about celebrating your success, but it's also about setting standards. It's about understanding what works so you can keep repeating those same behaviors, right? Also understanding what works so we can continue to send you similar leads, right?
hmm
So a success strategy call is a very important call to have, and we typically have one every time that you have a success, right? As a success, I mean, something under contract or a success moment,
hmm
right? Um,
Sure.
that being said, would you mind sharing some of the details on that contract again here?
Sure. Yes. So it's Mr. Benny Motley, um, Charter Avenue, Open Cleveland. It's a small house. It's like 1,000 square feet, and it's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. But there is probably a spot to make a third bedroom. It'd just be a tiny little third bedroom.
Mhm.
So he had over the summer he had a child support lien on the property. Other than that, it was paid off, but the child support lien was like 35 grand over the summer. And so he had an investor, who I'm pretty sure was just a wholesaler, who got it under contract with him at 40K. But then they came back to him and said, "Hey, I actually need you to be at 37K, and then I can get it done." And
Mhm.
and he didn't want to do that. He was kind of just sketched out by that whole situation with them. And so he canceled it with them and just kind of sat on it for a while, has been paying off the child support lien as he goes a little bit. And then, saw the ad, got on with us. And he was like, well, my child support lien is probably a little bit lower now. And all I need is to clear 5K off of the top of that. So whatever that is, add 5K to that and we can do it. He's like, I don't know where exactly it is at. It's somewhere between 35 and 30. I don't know. Um, and so he was like, I just want 40 because that's like a guaranteed 5K over it. And so, I mean, we never give sellers what they ask for on the front end because if you do that, then they don't feel like they won. They feel like they left something on the table. And so we always make sure we negotiate.
Mhm.
And so he wanted 40. So I came in at 36,250 with the room, I think, to go to 40, or maybe it was like 38 or something like that. Um, and then yeah, he just wanted to, he's like, well, let me go double check what the child support lien is. And we usually don't let sellers do this. Like if they're on the phone with us, we don't give an offer unless they are ready to make a decision on it, and we don't like let them walk away from that. But I went against that this one time. I don't know, just because I chose to believe him, which we never do because sellers are liars. But that's fine. It worked out this time. So he went and checked it. He came back the next day and called me right when he said he was going to. I made sure to get a commitment from him. I said, okay, you're going to check this, and what time are you going to call me tomorrow? He said, this time. And I said, okay, I'm going to be expecting a call from you at this time. It's on my calendar. He said, okay, great, I will. And he did. And he said, we can go forward with it. So got it signed. So it's in really good
Awesome,
shape,
man.
the house. It's like for a rental. It's a really good, it's in like pretty much done rental shape. It just probably needs like a teeny bit of touch up stuff. So basically we're expecting somebody to be able to buy it. Um, like we have it for 36,250. They should buy it for around 50, put about 5K into it just to spruce it up, and then they can refi out of it and burr it.
So you said above 50, like the person should buy it above at above 50, right?
Yeah, the end buyer. Yeah, that's what we're expecting. I
And
mean, we haven't
yeah,
marketed it yet, but
and then they would so expected estimated revenue would be 13.5K. And
yeah, right
then
around there.
you're saying that they need to put somewhere about like 5K. Is that what you said?
Yeah, just right around there. There's some touch up paint and like a few tiny little patches to do.
Awesome, man. That's great. I mean, and this is gonna be what, like a sub, uh,
Just a wholesale. We're just gonna wholesale it to somebody who wants to burr it.
yes, okay. So it's plain wholesale.
Hmm.
Pretty awesome, man. I mean, yeah, you just know this is gonna be a good one for someone who has a rental portfolio, right?
That's what we think. I mean, we'll see. You never until you really get out there and get the actual buyer to sign the document. I don't count on
Yeah.
anything. But
Yeah, that's totally, I mean, that makes total sense, bro. Like that's really, really important. But still, bro, like, I mean, first contract, um, very good negotiation process. Like you went outside a little bit outside of your framework, but it worked. So yeah, a lot of it is, I mean, yeah, sellers are liars. In my experience, I've noticed that it's also important to ask multiple questions because when you ask multiple questions, you're gonna be able to figure out
catch them in the
what
lie.
seems to be true and what may not be entirely true.
Hmm.
Right? It was
Right.
good that it seems like, do you guys already verify that that's the only lien on the property and everything?
Title is doing that, so we sent it to our title
That was
company,
doing
and
that.
they're starting the title
Awesome.
search. So
Awesome, man. I mean, the numbers were pretty tight here, in my opinion. And that's what happened. I mean, that's what happened to the other wholesaler. He didn't try to negotiate. right? So
Yeah,
he
for
lost the
sure.
opportunity.
Yeah, it is tight. I mean, it's anything with an ARV under 100K is tight because
Right.
like there's just not a lot of room in the deal. What makes this one
Mm-hmm.
I think worth it is that the quality of the house itself is actually pretty good. Like
Pretty
there's
good.
not a lot of rehab needed. If there's rehab needed, there's just nothing you can do. But it should be able to be pretty turnkey for the end buyer, which makes it, I think, possible to squeeze out some money in it.
What turned out to be the seller's motivation? I mean, he wanted to get
Yeah,
it.
I think it was. I mean, I would say it's mostly the child support lien. He just wanted to pay that off and be done with it. Um, he mentioned wanting to go to Arizona. So we think of motivation as like on the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
there's like the pleasure side and then there's the pain side. Like somebody who's experiencing no pain, but really, 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 really wants to go to Costa Rica is going to be willing to sell their house for anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who is experiencing no pleasure and is experiencing terrible, 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 terrible pain is going to be willing to sell it too. So like you don't necessarily need to be like, you know, 100% pain or 100% pleasure. You can kind of be somewhere in between on both ends. And however big this gap is really how motivated you are, right? So like if it's a mixture, like for this guy, it's a mixture of I've got this child support lien that I hate and I really want to get to Arizona to be with my grandkids. And it opened up a little bit of a gap here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was just I want to go to Arizona with my grandkids, that's not enough motivation. If it was just I got this child support lien, maybe it would have been. Like that was more likely, but not quite enough. Like we bought a house from a guy who was like, I'm a day trader. I have a ton of money. I don't need money. I just want to go to Brazil on my birthday. My birthday's in a month. Can I sell this house for you guys to you guys just to get the cash to go to Brazil? And I said, okay. And we bought the house from him under market value because he was just, like
Mm-hmm.
that guy had no pain, but he
Yeah,
was qualified because he had intense pleasure. He's like, I really need to get there for my birthday. It's a huge deal to me. I'll take it, like whatever. Like I don't make your decisions for you. So
yeah. It seems like a lot of what you were doing there was asking them questions so they could say it themselves. Like you were trying to get it out of their mouth. Like what was
yeah,
the
for sure.
the motivation level? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are meant to ask like at least three or four motivation questions, and that are intentionally open ended. Like, so it's what has you thinking about selling? Oh man, how long have you been thinking about that? Oh gosh, is that a big deal or a little deal for you? And well, in your perfect scenario, I mean, what would this process look like, and how would you get out of it? Like, yeah, and dig
Mhm.
into each of those.
Yeah, man. I think you already know this by now. I'm always one of my values is always keep learning. I think that may apply to you guys as well, right?
Yeah, we have one of our core values is I have it on my desk over here, striving for more. So
Striving for more. Yeah, that
same
includes
idea.
also more knowledge, right?
Hmm.
That's great because I've been I found I mean we have Google accounts and it turns out Google gave us access to this AI tool, Gemini AI, but the advanced version.
Mm.
And they have a learning coach, man. It's called like that,
Oh,
learning.
really?
So I was playing around with it, asking questions about the motivated sellers and how to find out motivation. And bro, there were some good motivated seller questions here.
I bet.
Um, maybe you can try it, bro. It was so cool, man. It, I don't. I mean, I sent too many messages. I can't even find them. But I thought I would ask. Oh, I found them. So, for example, it talks about timeline urgency questions. You mentioned a few of them there, like how long have you thinking about selling? How soon are you looking to close? Uh, what happens if the property doesn't sell by a certain date? So those are like time urgency questions. There's situation problem focused questions, like what are the plans after the sale? What are the challenges you've been facing trying to sell the property or with the property? Things like that. How's has that situation impacted you, right?
Hmm.
Flexibility negotiation questions, financial questions, emotional personal questions. It's pretty cool, man. And yeah, they do talk about open-ended questions. They do talk about active listening, empathy, building rapport, and all of that as a foundation. But for example, I would have never thought about this one. What are your feelings about selling this property, Mr. Seller? That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
Has this been a stressful situation for you? Those are within the emotional, personal questions. The financial questions, what are your financial goals for the sale? I think you asked that one, right? Because of the child support answer.
Yeah, sometimes yeah, we're careful with that one because we don't want to ask money stuff too
Too
soon when they're
soon.
not like
Too
in an
soon.
emotional state, right?
Yeah.
So if
Mhm.
we ask too quickly, sometimes they just go to a logical state and they go, oh, well, I
Yeah.
have this much and this much and right. And so
Yeah. I guess what happens is that I know that you have a certain framework, right?
hmm
From this training course or something that you guys did, right? You use
yeah,
a
from
framework.
Tiffany and Josh High. Yeah, results
Tiffany and
survey.
Josh High. Yeah. So I've noticed that those frameworks, a lot of the time, they have these different sections in which it's not just about the superficial motivation or was tell me a little bit about the problem, but they get deeper and deeper,
hmm
right? And then in the next sections, yes, you're asking questions about the property like situation, but at the same time, you're also gauging any sort of motivation that has to do with the property itself,
Yeah.
right? And then you follow this entire framework, and what ends up happening is that you ask the motivation questions at the right times during the call. So you're building up the
hmm
process so when it's gonna be a time to start negotiating.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're looking for value outside of price because we can't offer market value. So if we are
Yeah.
going to get them to accept our deal, there needs to be some value we're bringing them outside of price, and that could be either tied up in handling a situation they feel like they can't handle, or in helping with movers or paying for clean out or
Mhm.
doing a timeline they can't normally get. There are ways to add value outside of price, and they need those things to be at the front of their mind when you're discussing price
Mhm.
and not actually the price.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense, man. Congrats. I mean, you guys are doing amazing, fantastic.
We're trying. We'll see.
I mean, we need to celebrate. Why not? Right?
Yeah, no, it's true. Just eyes on the prize. We're not there yet. Not out of the hole yet. We got a hole we're digging out of. So
That's the striving for more
yeah.
mindset. And
hmm
it's good, but it has to be balanced with like, hey, let's celebrate today because we're doing something great, right?
for
And we're
sure.
celebrating with you. We're happy for you, right? We're looking forward to, I don't know, maybe next week we're gonna do a new success strategy call with the innovations person. Why not, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we should be getting 2 deals a week between all marketing. So
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's great. Awesome. So I'll let you know when this is uploaded to YouTube. All right.
okay.
If you want to share any message with like anyone who look watching this success strategy call.
Uh, I mean, I probably just keep after it. Like you got to really refine the craft and keep after it. Follow the
Mhm.
systems.
Awesome, man. That it's about systems. It's about knowing how to conduct the conversations. I mean, so many good stuff coming up from this call. You can also share this success strategy call with your team so they know the type of things that you're doing to achieve success, and so they get inspired by it as well, right?
hmm
Awesome, man. So let me stop this recording real quick.